So what does it mean to you to be able to come back to your hometown, have this camp, help out the kids?
Yeah. It's something I've always wanted to do. You know, one of my favorite things as a kid growing up was going to A&M basketball camp, Consol basketball camp, and just getting a bunch of kids together and being able to just roll out the balls for a couple hours and just hoop. So I think that was something I've always wanted to do. I've always planned on doing, and finally I'm at the point in my career where I can kind of settle down in the summer and have the time and ability to do it.
Yeah. What does it mean, or who are some of the guys when you went to those camps that you looked up to, some of your idols that maybe some of these kids might be looking up to you now?
Oh, I mean, it's anybody from AC Law to DeAndre Jordan, Joseph Jones, Dominique Kirk, like the grit and grind era of Texas A&M basketball that I really enjoyed going. And one of my favorite things was just being around them and seeing them and getting the opportunity to interact with them and just kind of hang out.
Do you have a favorite moment or like a favorite instruction or interaction you had with one of those guys when you were a kid that you still remember to this day?
Not a specific one, but I remember my favorite part was always watching them play the open run 5-on-5 when the players would play at the end of camp or the end of one night. I was always make sure I was front row for that.
Yeah.
How has today gone? I mean, you had your first session, so your first camp, first session. I mean, how do you feel about it?
It's going great so far. You know, I got some good guys helping me out. A lot of fun, a little bit of drills, a lot of contests, a lot of games, stuff that the kids love to do. And the little ones this morning had a lot of energy, so we're getting a little bit of lunch, getting a refuel, and getting ready for the older kids in the afternoon.
These guys remind you of you at all when you were back in the day?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they got the same. I was the little crazy kid running around, shooting the ball every chance I got every now and then. So they definitely have the same energy that I had.
You mentioned being able to settle down in the summer. What has it been like this offseason, being able to sign the contract that kind of helps get you to be able to do this summer?
Yeah, it's really exciting for me just to finally make it to where I wanted to. My goal took me 3 years, a little different route than maybe some did, but always had the belief and the faith that I'd end up being there. So thankfully that's done with. I know where I'm going to be back in LA, and like I said, I finally have the stability to come back home and kind of settle down and put on a camp for some kids.
What was your initial reaction? You know, you're settling down in LA right now. So what was your initial reaction with all the offseason, Anthony Davis coming there to, being teammates with both LeBron and Anthony Davis now?
Yeah, really surreal. I mean, beginning of last year, obviously just being teammates with arguably maybe the best player that ever played the game of basketball. So having that experience under my belt makes it a little easier with some of the new guys coming in, but it's really surreal. We're going to have a really good team. There's not going to be a bad player on our roster, a guy that you're going to have to worry about throwing him into the fire. So I'm really excited to just get back there and start getting to work with the guys.
I know NBA offseason, what it's like for fans. What is it like for a player seeing all the movement and all the rotation and everything like that?
Well, it seems like it gets crazier and crazier every summer, right? It seems like you always say, "Oh, it can't get topped," and then it does. So, for me, just kind of being patient and sticking with it. There's always going to be moves. There's always going to be trades and different free agent signings. Just really happy that I ended up back in LA. Like I said, we got a really good team, and I'm really just excited to get the season going.
I know a few other teams showed interest. How close were you to at least considering some of those offers?
I mean, everything's a consideration. It's a career decision for me. This is the kind of my gateway contract to get into being a solidified full-time point guard in the NBA, and I think I'm working towards that. So, I mean, there was other teams that obviously had a lot of interest just of how well I played at the end of the year. But ultimately, LA I think was the right fit, and glad that I ended up staying there.
What was your welcome to the NBA moment? You've been in the league for a couple of years, and you had that 32-point game against Clippers. But what was that moment where you're like, wow, I'm here playing in the big league?
Honestly, it was probably a couple games my first year on the two-way where I was just, and it wasn't even how well I played or something I did. It was just playing against the guys I was playing against. I was playing against Chris Paul, James Harden, LeBron, guys that I'd grown up watching when I was in middle school, high school, and even in college. And now I'm on the same court with them, competing with them. So I think it was just the timing of it, me growing up watching all these guys play and then finally being able to be out there and be on the same court with them.
Is there something to that first season like you're talking about, kind of being a little bit starstruck, kind of like maybe some of these kids are today, getting to hang out with you?
Yeah, I mean, I tell everybody the first couple of times that I actually stepped into Staples Center, you don't forget that. It's such a special place, and it's like it's one of the meccas of professional basketball. So every time that I go out there, I don't take it for granted. I remember that first time or two that I walked out there.
NBA Twitter is crazy, and you've kind of become a cult hero on NBA Twitter.
Yeah.
Do you see the memes? Do you like them?
Yeah, I enjoy them, man. There's not one that goes by that I don't get sent to me, or I don't have somebody message me on Twitter, Instagram, and send it to me. My buddies from high school that I'm still really good friends with, they make sure I see all of them.
Did you see the AC mixtape, the dunk tape?
Yeah, I've seen them all, man. I've seen them all.
I know LA has a lot of good food, a lot of good spots. What's the first place you have to come when you come back at home?
Well, the first place I went this time was Wings and More. But I'm a big fan of the food around here. You know, I like Fuego, I like C&J's, Polly's Casino's a little hidden gem. But yeah, Wings and More's, that's a staple.
And last, you got any one piece of advice you give the kids in there that hopefully want to take your journey, make it to the NBA? What's that piece of advice?
Just keep working. You know, that's what I did. I was in their shoes coming to camp, trying to make my 8th grade A team or my varsity team in high school, and you just got to keep working. Eventually, you can put yourself in a position to take advantage of an opportunity.
Perfect. Thank you.